Okay, I'll just get the recording going.
Okay, we probably should do some introduction, I guess.
Yeah.
So, welcome listeners. It's 5th of May, mid-evening in Tolosa. And this is Centraseiră. And I'm here with Luc. And when I say I'm here with Luc, maybe Luc, you can tell us something about where you are right now?
Yeah, I'm literally in front of Gluck. We are in his flat. Have been visiting him for the last 3 days or so. This is the last full day we're going to spend together because I'm going to leave tomorrow morning. But it's been a nice little holiday for like May Day and Dutch Day of Remembrance.
So yes, today is Liberation Day, and then yesterday was like Remembrance, basically. Yeah. So how do you like the Dutch experience so far?
It's been very nice. It's I've checked out many boxes about like living the Dutch lifestyle and cycling a lot and eating croquettes and hagelslag and yeah.
And raw herring.
And raw herring as well. Yeah, we've got a picture of me that maybe should not be posted when I'm holding a whole raw herring like on top of my mouth, which apparently is the the way Dutch people eat herring, and like I was a bit skeptical of this, but then I saw a local do it, and then Luke also did it, so he's probably not trolling me, and it was actually very good herring, so so nice. We tried to. I think we mostly stayed away from tourist traps, so.
Well, that's easier because we're in the Hague and not in Amsterdam, so.
True enough. We've mostly also been blessed by nice weather, even though it was a bit sketchy maybe coming here, because apparently temperatures were much higher during the week and then they dropped a bit. But like apart from very brief rain overnight and like a bit of maybe too much wind, like it was mostly pleasant and sunny, a little overcast at times, but thankfully we had a nice mostly dry days, and we went for long cycling tours and like city sightseeing yesterday. And yeah, we saw the mouth of the Rhine on Saturday. We saw the beach. Very nice experience. So yeah, thank you again for hosting me.
Yeah, no problem. So obviously Luke and I have known each other for like 13 years maybe now, but we've never actually met. So it's interesting to actually meet you here.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of impression you got of me in person, if it matches the the guy behind the screen, but like I guess as far as I could tell about you, you were a very great host and like great friend, like the same you've been all these years. So it was nice to
well,
to have
that's flattering. Thank you. No, I mean I've been very happy having you here as a guest, and I enjoyed the weekend.
Yeah, we played many board games as well.
Yes.
We had an improbable The Mind win yesterday, for anyone who knows The Mind, which is basically a game in which you have like 100 numbered cards, and you get randomly dealt increasingly amount of cards depending on the level, and you basically have to order them without being able to see your opponent's cards. Well, it's not an opponent because it's co-op, but like I cannot see what cards Gluck has in his hands, and likewise, and we can't really communicate. So it's trickier than it sounds, and we were able at least to win that, which was
I think
nice.
it's a very good sign, because apparently our minds are very much on the same level, I guess.
Yeah.
I've never actually gotten that far with anyone with the mind, so
Yeah, that was pretty
very
cool.
good.
Yeah. Nice.
It was meant to be, basically.
Yeah, nice feeling to win at that. But then otherwise he spanked me bad on like a couple other board games that I had never played before, but they were still great fun. I think board gaming is like something that we should do more in Talosa because like there are digital versions of those and they're so that might be played on Discord, I guess. If you ever want to do that in the future, they are very enjoyable and very Talosa-like. Cause like we should have a big tradition of that kind of stuff, but it's not really been done much lately.
Yeah, we should do another board or game night on Discord, I guess.
Yeah, we definitely should. We passed up on it on like the election deadline, but we also did TMT20, so it might not have been as much time to do both, I guess. But yeah, and that's probably gonna be Talosa chess maybe in the near future. If
we'll see. Maybe, probably.
If it gets off the ground. I mean,
But are you participating or not?
I mean, out of like, out of a sense of thankfulness, for you hosting me, and putting up with me these days, I think I will do an effort to try and do my best and yeah, sure, I will take part, I guess.
Yes. Okay, I will hold you to that now.
Okay.
Yay.
Fair enough. How bad can it be?
I mean, experience that there's like a lot of different levels of players in Talosa chess, and you don't actually have to be that good to maybe win a game. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think there was one new citizen who was also very much into chess, right? So maybe he could participate and win, beat everyone.
Yeah, I think it was Yak Valadeir, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah.
I think I tagged you on this immigration thread, and then.
Yeah, that's why I noticed. Yeah. So Yak, if you're listening, you should join Talosa chess and probably win.
Yeah, it would be great fun. I mean, all of the chat room stuff is usually very entertaining. Like TMT20 recently finished. I don't have a high opinion of the results, but maybe Gluck disagrees.
I very much like the composition of the final. I'm not sure about the order of the top 20, but the songs that are in there, I think I really liked. So
yeah, that was mostly the case for me as well. Maybe that's why that there was a bit of disappointment in the ordering not being exactly what I hoped for. Like it seemed to be like songs clustered in little groups of 4 or 3 songs that were basically that I would basically have flipped. And that's fine, I guess. At least we got a first-time winner, so.
Yeah, Pink Floyd finally won. I mean, that was about to happen at some point, probably.
Yeah, I suppose. It's not my. I'm not a huge Pink Floyd guy, and it's definitely not my favorite Pink Floyd song. But the people have spoken, and.
Yes, exactly, and I think it's very nice that TMT keeps growing and more people are participating. I mean, it's very slow growth, but it's still. I mean, it's been going for so long now.
Yeah.
And Jan is doing a really good job of organizing it every time. Yeah, so I think that's nice. But of course, there are also other events coming up that we probably should talk about.
Yeah.
So in 4 days, I don't know when this will go out. I hope pretty quickly, but we'll see. So in X number of days, or maybe minus X number of days, Giro will start. Yeah. Which also means the first leg of 2025 TCAT, Tolson Cycling Association Tour. So obviously we hope there's going to be a lot of teams participating again. You don't need to actually know much about pro cycling. Yeah, we've seen winners in the past that also just more or less randomly made a team. Obviously, the teams that do a bit more research tend to do a little bit better, but okay. Yeah, I can't really claim that it's completely random because I've done well over the past couple of editions, but it's definitely possible to do well without knowing much about pro cycling. Maybe we can give some tips about how to approach making a team on Wittenberg or later. I think we did that last year as well. But yeah, do participate in that. It's only like 10 minutes of work, and you will get 3 weeks of entertainment from us in return for making a team. Which I mean, it should cost you not a lot of time. We will post instructions very soon, I guess. Maybe when the Velogames for Giro opens. And maybe we're not going to, because we are both a bit tired from the weekend and we still have a long day ahead of us. So we're not going to do a very long review, but we will do, just to give an impression of our thoughts, the credit guessing game. So we've selected a couple of riders and we will try to guess how many credits they will be in the actual game. Shall we just start with that then?
Sure. Let's hear the list of riders you think might be interesting picks.
Okay, let's start with the obvious one, Roglic. How many credits?
So Roglic is probably going to be the favorite for GC, I guess. Just because there are no other really. I don't even know if there's any like recent Grand Tour winners apart from him. So I mean, I guess Carapaz has won Giro before, Bernal has won Giro, but those are both like over 5 years ago, and they're both not really their former selves. So I don't expect them to do big. So there's no Vingegaard, there's no Pogacar, there's no Evenepoel. So yeah, probably Roglic is like by default should be the favorite one. He probably was the same like 2 years ago. When Evenepoel dropped out for COVID, and then we just had Roglic and Thomas. They dish it out, but it was, I think, pretty much clear that Roglic was a bit more complete, more in his prime, relatively speaking, than Thomas. I'm not sure if the same holds true today, because Roglic is also probably not his older self as well, but again, by default, he should probably be the strongest, I guess, depending on his form.
But as you know from painful experience, Roglic just have a bit of a tendency to drop out from races or disappoint for no apparent reason.
Yeah, but I found that to be more the case when he's actually under pressure, rather than when he's actually the lone favorite, when he probably can administer a little bit. So I mean, long story short, I don't expect him to be. I mean, depending on whether Velogames feels there are going to be other viable or very strong viable candidates for the GC, which is probably going to be the next one you're going to name. Roglic is probably going to be either 24 or 26, I guess. And I'm going to go with. I hope 24 for the sake of like flexibility in teams, but I'm ready to be disappointed. I don't think Roglic in 2025 is worth 26 credits in any kind of GC, on any kind of Grand Tour. Sorry, but then again, it might be just so much better than so much more experienced than the other major contenders. That
then you said he was basically like the sole favorite. Pogacar, 32 points last year.
Yeah.
He was also the sole favorite. Obviously, Pogacar is not Roglic. Pogacar is going to like attack every stage and try to win every stage, and Roglic is going to be a lot more conservative in his way of riding and probably not score as many points while still winning. But
I suppose you can expect from Roglic like what if he's going for GC, he's going to win one GC stage and then one time trial maybe, and that's it. But Pogacar can win like I don't know. Did he win like 7 stages like last year?
Don't know. Something like that maybe.
Which in Velogame terms is a lot of points. because of course daily results also matter relatively.
Yeah,
like
of course,
a lot.
but 32 credits is also like a third of your credit, so
Yeah.
he better be good if you spend 32 on him. Oh, okay. If you say 24, I should probably say 26. That would be the smart thing to do, but I'm going to say 28 just for the sake of making it a little bit more interesting.
Sure.
Because I do think 26 is probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to guess first, I would have probably said 26. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't guess the next one first, but you can say something maybe first. So, Ayuso.
So yeah, Ayuso is the other, I guess, interesting name, and he's much younger. So he's like 22.
I shall look this up now.
But yeah,
22. Yeah.
Yeah, 22. Ayuso has like struggled in the past at GTs, I guess, because of he was always in teams with like Almeida or like Yates.
Oh, he's still in a team with Yates this time.
Yeah, true enough. So yeah, UAE again has a bit of a problem with like picking a single favorite unless it's Pogacar. Yeah, but still, I don't see a world in which Ayuso is like less like that than 22, I guess. If Velogames decides, okay, we're going to get Roglic at 26, and then maybe Ayuso is 24, but nah, I don't think he has the pedigree for like. So most likely going to be 22, I think.
So you're saying Roglic's only 2 points more expensive than Ayuso?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ayuso second in Catalunya this year, and first in Tirreno Adriatico. Oh, and second behind Roglic actually.
Ah, okay.
So he's done well this year. Yeah.
I'm kind of reconsidering now. And maybe it's going to be Roglic 26 and Ayuso 24 then. That
Too
would
bad.
be
I'm
kind of
already
a
saying
classic
24
for
now. But do you? Yeah, but you already said 24 for Roglic, so we're going to.
Okay, I'll do 22 Ayuso then, I guess.
You can have them both 24.
Yeah, but I don't think they are worth the same.
Okay, I had
because of the time trial mostly, I guess.
I had 28 for Roglic, so I will do 24 for Ayuso then. Okay, and I will fill something in for the Yates before you. So I don't always go last because that maybe is unfair a bit. Yeah, why not? Yates.
It's gonna be either 20 or 18, I guess. Probably 20, I guess.
Yeah. That's good because I put down 18.
Ah, I see. Yeah. I don't know. Like Yates has like Yates can win GTs. He can hold the leader jersey, the leader's jersey, but still, I can probably like UAE also had bad blood between Ayuso and the rest of the team, where Ayuso wanted to be the leader and not really help out much. So again, I'm assuming Ayuso is going to be leader, but yeah. So that would mean Yates would mostly be a domestique or be a backup option, I guess.
So you're saying if he's expensive, don't pick him?
Yeah, but then again, you could be disappointed if you then pick Ayuso and then Ayuso bombs and Yates ends up receiving the mantle. But I think we've just said that Ayuso is probably in good form. So.
Okay, but even with Ayuso in good form, Yates will probably still be like top 5 maybe.
Yeah, I need to check a bit like what he did when he was a domestique in previous GTs maybe. But
I definitely remember one year with Pogacar that he was still like top 5 or something like that.
It probably was Tour 2023 maybe. But the one where he maybe also had the yellow jersey like in the
in the first stage maybe.
Yeah, and sure, but then still I don't. Yeah, it might be a very expensive pick for like not even being a team leader. So
Oh yeah, so in 2023, Yates was third, behind Pogacar in second. And in 2024, Yates was sixth, behind both Pogacar and Almeida.
Mm.
So I guess he does tend to still be up there even when he's not the leader.
Yeah. I mean, the usual rule of thumb for Velogames is 100 points per credit, so we would need to score like almost 2,000 points then to be worth it, but I don't know if that's dependent on stage wins or stage high rankings. It also will depend on how many GC stages there are, I guess, because those are the ones then when he's going to be expected to finish top 10, top 5 maybe, and rack up some more points and stay close to the top of the GC, I suppose.
Okay, I've put 12 for Storer. Thoughts on that?
Fair. I mean, I already told you earlier that Storer was like one of my sneaky picks, maybe, which is not going to be sneaky anymore because I'm going to widely talk about him. I kinda agree on the 12, but I still think he's going to. I hope he's hopefully going to be a little cheaper than that. So he's basically it would be a guaranteed pick basically if he's any cheaper, I guess, because he's done very good in GC and very good in.
Maybe with Shelf it would still be a guaranteed pick.
Yeah.
Like you probably could pick him for 16 or something like that. But I mean, he's new, so he's not going to be 16.
I mostly agree on the 12, I guess. You can put me down for 12 with the caveat that I still kind of hope. He was cheaper, I guess, last year because he was like 8 even. I will have to check, I guess.
Yeah, but he, of course, since then, he's gotten better results. So
yeah, it's not going to be a surprise anymore, I guess. Yeah, last year he was 8 credits and scored 731 points, so almost matched his expected value. So that's still a good pick in my opinion. And I think this year is going to be like in a similar position, except even better results earlier. So
okay, actually we should probably go back to UAE. Jay Vine.
yeah, I think you should comment more on Vine than me because like you just picked him for Romandy and he did very well, and I don't know much about. I didn't really follow.
Oh, I didn't really follow. I just saw he was mentioned as a contender for Romandy, so I just picked him for that reason, and also because of the assist points, maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean, Vine we know can be very good. He has very good results in the past. And he's done very good results recently, but he's going to be a domestique.
Yeah.
So the odds of him scoring, like, maybe he can do top 10 in a very weird scenario, but I think with UAE probably not as confident about Ayuso than they would be about Pogacar. There's maybe a lot less room for other riders to also go for a very high result.
Yeah, I agree in the end. Like it's going to be like my guess I guess is like 12 or 14, but it's still going to be not really worth it, I guess, because there's going to be a domestique and like even then still very crowded in front. Like a bit like it's one of those good names UAE have that are never going to be like super worth it at GTs because just of the competition in front. Like I don't know, like McNulty for example, I guess. But
he does have a good time trial though.
Yeah, but there are just 2 time trials, I guess. So
yeah,
maybe.
True enough.
I mean, they're not going to be more than 2, I guess. But
I don't think Fine will be 14 because of the team, so I'm tempted to just also say 12 then. Maybe I should say 10, but I don't think. I think 12 sounds about right, maybe. 10? I'll go 10 just. And then he might be a very good pick because he's also going to get assist points probably. Carapaz.
Yeah, old glory and stuff. Hey, he said, I guess, decent results in previous GTs. 10th at Catalonia.
Yeah, that's not
too good. Yeah.
18th at Tirreno.
He was 4th at Vuelta last year. 17th at the Tour. He didn't do Giro. Yeah, maybe he's going to be like 16 credits out of fame because he's won, of course. He's won the Mountains Jersey at Tour last year. He's won Mountain Jersey at Vuelta in 2022. He's won Giro in 2019. So yeah, maybe he's a KOM pick then. But he might be an expensive KOM pick.
So I do remember, I think Jan or something like that, someone like that picked him last year for one race, and then he did very well in the end for him.
Yeah, must have been either Tour or...
So he's been picked a lot for TCAT, I think. Relatively speaking.
Yeah, I wish I had these stats on hand, but I don't, so...
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, he was just 8 credits in Tour last year, and he scored like 1,200 points. And he won the KOM jersey. And in Spain, where he was 4th in GC, he was 12 credits, and he scored again 1,200 points. So he's usually been worth it recently. I really do hope he's not going to be. Actually, by these lower prices, I really doubt it's going to be 16 credits. Then mostly probably going to be again 12 or 14, I guess. I'm going to go with. I mean, it also depends on the competition within his same class of rider. I guess there's going to be those GC outsiders like and like climbing guys like Landa or Ciccone or. Yeah, the more they crowd, the more probably their prices will go a bit down overall. I'm gonna guess it's going to be 14 maybe then.
14. I'll say 12 then. Okay, Ineos, Bernal.
8.
8.
Yes. Mostly because Bernal hasn't done basically anything since coming back from the, like anything of note since coming back from the injury. And I really doubt people would be tempted to pick him if he wasn't going to be very cheap. He also kinda maybe has competition in Ineos because of Arensman, who hasn't really been a reliable GC guy. In his he tends to not be very consistent over the course of the 3 weeks. Usually he's like infamous for slow starts, and then Arens Mania in the later. I don't think Bernal has shown like any kind of promise to like contest for GC unless he's very cheap, and then people might go for him out of hope, I guess. So 8 credits is my final
okay.
answer.
I will go higher than that because it does appear he was going to be the captain for Ineos. Whether that is a good choice, I don't know, but let me get any stats on how much Bernal was in the last.
Bernal was 12 in Tour last year, and he scored not even 300 points.
Yeah, so don't pick Bernal because if he was 12 in Tour last year, he's not going to be less now then for Giro, so I'm going to say 12 then.
Sure.
Arendsman.
I mean, Arensman again. I just commented on him, so I don't think he is warranted. Like again, he's not very consistent. He's a very good rider, very a nice time trial as well, but yeah, it's probably going to be like 10 maybe.
Oh yeah, I wrote down 10 as well, but I do think he's probably a good pick for 10. Because yeah, he can probably do well in the stage at least, and
Yeah.
in time trial, maybe go for GC if Bernal, like if it's very clear early on that Bernal won't do well. He did very well this season so far. At least I think he was second Tour of the Alps, third Paris-Nice. So yeah, I do think he's a good pick for 10 maybe. Let's skip those. Should we do Landa? I don't think Landa is interesting, but he's probably going to be a lot more credits than some of the others. So
I mean, he
might be like the most expensive, like in the climber category.
Yeah, but he's always scored big lately. So because he was 8 credits in Tour and scored 1300. And he was 14 in Spain and he scored 1100, so almost worth it, I guess. And yeah, maybe that was of a nice tour. And also he's going to be team leader, I guess. I'm going to go for 14 again, I guess. But at 14, it might start to be. Yeah, I don't know. If you do a team with a strong climber, then maybe he could be like your tip of the diamond option. But not sure if I would go for that. There's going to be probably a lot of competition in that kind of climber class. He has a terrible TT as well, so not going really might end up losing GC by quite a bit as well. So
yeah, I agree with 14, I guess, but for the sake of the game, I will say 16 just to. I mean, okay. I don't think he's going to be 16.
Sure.
But yeah, I can't just copy you all the time, so.
Yeah.
Let's skip that one. Okay, I just want to throw someone out there. Scaroni.
Probably 8. The problem with Scaroni is that it's probably going to be unclassed and uncategorized.
Is he? I assume he'd be climber, maybe.
A climber again. Sure.
I think he's been mentioned as like a possible KOM candidate. I mean, for GC, he's going to support like Ulysses, I guess. I guess Ulysses will be there.
I mean, it was a 6-point unclass. I mean, if they actually go for Ulysses, then I don't think Ulysses is a serious option for GC. But
Fortunato is another one, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the main climber for. I feel like Scaroni is more like a punchy guy for like.
But there are some
breakaway stages.
Relatively punchy stages early on.
Yeah.
Takes a while before you get to the big mountains, and then if you're like in the attack in those stages, you are going to maybe get some KOM points later on.
Yeah.
Try to stick with that. So like, I don't know. I do think he's going to be a climber, but I guess the game is the number of credits, not the category.
Yeah. No, I kind of stand behind the fact that he's probably going to be an unclassed, and he's probably going to be 8 credits, I guess. Or actually, because
I'll agree on 8, but I'll agree on 8.
But you think it's going to be a climber?
Yeah, I think it's going to
Sure. I think Fortunati is already going to be like the main climber, so maybe, and he's going to be more expensive than Scaroni, I guess. But
yes. Okay, let's do Tarling and then go to the sprinters.
Tarling is going to be the usual unclassed TT peak, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's basically 8 by default.
Fair
Because
enough.
he's going to be a Kung or a Ganna from previous years, previous edition.
Well, Ganna has gotten 10 in some editions, I think.
True. Yeah, but like usually the most expensive unclassed, or maybe the most expensive unclassed have been 10 credits.
But the most expensive unclassed ever was 14. It was Mathieu van der Poel. But
oh yeah,
that was a bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
Normally the most expensive unclassed is either 8 or 10.
Yeah, so like in let's check. Like last year there were no 10 credit unclassed in Giro, and the most expensive ones were Ganna, Bajoli, and Laporte. And then in Tour we had Van der Poel and Pidcock at 10, and in Spain we had Narvaez at 10, and Tarling was 8. So
Tarling is going to be 8. Do not pick Tarling, by the way, or don't. As a general advice, don't pick expensive unclassed. They're usually not worth it.
Yeah.
Tarling is probably going to win the time trial. Maybe he's going to win both time trials. That's it. There's not going to be much else.
Yeah, because you can make the math yourself. So like a time trial win is 220 points, I think.
Yeah.
So
for maybe the GC points if you still in the lead by the.
But it
that
would have been more helpful if like the time trial was the first stage, but it's the second one, and I don't think it's going to be in the front in the first stage. So he's going to basically score about half the number of points he would need to be worth it.
If he actually wins, because often the time trial specialists don't actually win, they end up like third and some GC guy maybe.
Yeah, but Tarling is still, I guess, one of the best time trialists in the world, except for Ganna, Evenepoel, and Van Aert, and neither of them is. Actually, Van Aert is that. Yeah, so he might actually not even win that, but I don't think Van Aert is his former self in time trials. He did very good at the Olympics, but not very good in other time trials. So.
Okay, so let's move on then to Van Aert then.
Yeah. I mean, almost.
Is he even going to be a sprinter, or is he going to be unclassed? Koi is there.
Yeah, because there's Koi in Jumbo Visma.
So maybe we're gonna.
Sorry, in Visma, Viva Bike.
Maybe we get another expensive, like really expensive unclassed then.
Yeah, but I don't think he's ever been like what was he when he was like domesticating for Vindegaard like 2 years ago in Tour. Gonna look that up really quick. He was a sprinter even then, but it really wasn't a sprinter. I don't think he's going to actually be.
How many crazy? 18 he was.
Yeah, he's not going to be lower than 16, I guess.
Oof. Oh, he was 14 in main Velogame for Tour last year.
Yeah, and he still wasn't worth it actually. Like the last 2 tours he didn't do. But of course, 2022 tour is the one that he wore the yellow jersey, he won the green jersey.
Yeah, he won.
And he won like 2 or 3 stages. I don't like. So that was his breakout, and then he's got a bit of second place ITs.
And also the problem is this year he hasn't actually won anything. He just keeps not being good at all in the sprints, which is unfortunate for a sprinter.
Yeah, I'm going to just say 16, I guess. But if that's his form, I don't think he's worth that much. But yeah,
I don't think he's going to be 16 now. I don't think he's going to be 12 or 14. And I think maybe with Koi there, he won't even be a sprinter, he will just be unclassed. But then a very expensive unclassed.
Yeah.
But then again, he is Van Aert. Obviously, like in a good year, he's going to score like 26,000 or well 2,600 points.
Yeah, and I think he was mostly ignored for Vuelta last year because no one thought it was like very good for sprinters, and I don't even remember. I think there was just one ticket team
Okay,
that
it was
picked
18
Van Aert.
there, so you're probably right about 16.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say 14, just because he's not been at all good. Okay, actual sprinters now. Pedersen.
Okay, probably the favorite for the Maglia Ciclamino for the points classification, I guess. He's won. What did he win again?
Gent-Wevelgem.
Yeah, of course, yeah. He won that. He kind of has a decent spring, I guess.
A decent spring. I mean, he won that one, but also seventh in Milano-Sanremo, second E3, fifth Dwarsdorp Vlaanderen, second Ronde van Vlaanderen, third Paris-Roubaix.
Yeah.
That's quite.
And he won points classification in Tour de la Provence and Paris-Nice. 16 points probably.
That's very expensive for a sprinter. But
I don't. Yeah, but they're not going to like price sprinters that higher. And also, I think we must remember that teams with two sprinters have done well in Giro, in TCAT before. So seems to be the sprinting GT, I guess. So I don't see why.
There are a lot of sprint stages, I think.
Yeah. It will probably be the same this year, I guess.
16 is very expensive for a sprinter, though. Usually, like the high sprinters, like 12 or 14 or something like that.
Yeah, let's just.
Of course, Pedersen. I mean, he's been picked a lot in TCAT, and he's always at least. I mean, some years he was worth it, some years he was just not worth it, but he's always done consistently well. He's never really completely dropped the ball or anything.
Yeah.
Because he always does well and stuff.
Yeah,
he has a very strong spring. He's only lost to like
the aliens.
Yeah, basically, yeah. The Van der Poels and Pogacars of the world.
So yeah, I stand by my 16, I guess. Because otherwise he's going to be just the prohibitive favorite, like sprinter, and everyone is going to pick him.
Yeah, okay. So I'll also say 16 because I do think you're right. And I will just fill in the other sprinters just for myself. Before... Groves.
Yeah. So of course Alpecin's main guy, because Alpecin is basically all a lead-out train except for like Quinten Hermans, I think. I haven't got the start list here, but
it's Groves, Hermans, Holman, Janssens. I don't know who these are. Kielig, that's a probably good lead-out. Plankaart.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
So no like interesting names, but they all probably all focus on getting Groves to the.
Yeah. I still stand by Quinten Hermans being a potential interesting breakaway pick. And
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Of course, I think last year Alpecin had Maurice do pretty well in like Giro maybe. Just checking to be sure. Oh no, it was Vuelta. Yeah, when he did like three times in the breakaway. But like anyway, yeah, Grove is probably going to be again one of the best sprinters, I guess, in a field that is probably pretty interesting. I think like there are a lot of viable sprinters. People can have fun having interesting teams, I guess. So as far as how good he's done this year, he hasn't won a stage, and he's actually been horned 2 times, I guess. Even, but he was the winner of the points classification at Vuelta last year because Van Aert crashed out, and he was second in the points classification last year at Giro, even though he didn't win a stage. Of course, Milan dominated that, but he's not here this year. He's not going to be lower than 14, I guess. He might be one of the top top tier sprinters, just a notch down for Pedersen for obvious reasons, and Pedersen does much better uphill sprint as well, I think. There's a couple of those we've seen yesterday. There's one in Matera, for example. But yeah, probably 14, I guess.
I put down 14 as well. Koi
also did Giro last year. He won a stage and then he dropped out because he was sick. But he also had crashed out in like immediately, almost like stage 3 or 4, if I remember correctly. So he still is trying to get his footing, like at a Grand Tour. He barely did a week, basically but he's still one of the great promises. I guess he's going to be the sprinter for Jumbo, or rather for Visma Leasebike. If Van Aert is not going to do that, I mean, probably 12 because it doesn't have the results of the others at Grand Tours. Still want to keep an eye on, of course, because if like he's still in the top tier of sprinters, I guess.
I put him down for 10. And then another team like Alpecin with no apparent
I
GC
mean, there's Simon
ambitions.
Yates, but
Bennett.
Yeah, interesting team, I guess. Bennett.
A very disappointing team. I mean, there's no Paris Panse or anyone. Just Stone Limited, I guess, and Godon. But
yeah, Godon is not.
it appears that they're just going for the sprints, I guess. Like, they might just be going for Bennett.
Yeah, and Bennett is going to seemingly has a small renaissance this year. Maybe he's won 4 stages in, like, of course, like minor stuff, but like prior to, I think, Tour de France last year, he had always won a stage in every Grand Tour he's competed in. Don't quote me on that, but I think I looked it up when we did a bet of whether Gall or Bennett would win a stage first, and neither did, but still. Yeah, he's probably going to be at 10, I guess, but I am not sure I would consider him as a worthwhile pick. Like the Decathlon's most interesting rider is going to be Vendrame if they bring him, I guess.
Oh yeah, but I was working on the assumption that maybe he wouldn't be there because he's not on the. He doesn't have a bib number in the start list. Wait, can I just Google is Vendrame going to Giro? Okay, let's assume he's not doing it. I don't know. Okay, I had 8 for Bennett.
Sure, fair enough.
So I guess we're. Is there anything else you want to say about Giro or?
Yeah. I mean, once again, I'm kind of excited about the sprint field because there are a lot of interesting sprinters, even those that we haven't like mentioned. Like I won't go in depth like for them, but like there are a lot of interesting sprinters in multiple teams. Like Cofidis has Fretin, I guess. Intermarché is going to have Gerber Tyson or even Busato, maybe if you're trying to get a unclassed sprinter in there, it might be worth it. And if he ends up sprinting sometime. Team Polti has Lonardi. Suda Quickstep will have Lamperti for if you are an American, like American sprinters. There's also going to be Paul Magnier.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Making his very, very interesting and exciting debut, I think.
I think Magnier is maybe going to sprint instead of Lamperti.
But Lamperti did well this year because he was like second in Bredene Cox side. I remember that stage. It was the one that Teuns won. But yeah.
I mean that doesn't say much about.
No, sure.
I mean, Eekhoff. Okay, Vernon was there. But Braat, 6th, 5th. Yeah.
There are a lot of other hidden picks, like Moschetti could be a good sprinter for Q36.5, and he could hopefully be cheap. VF Group has both Zanoncello and Fiorelli. so yeah, a lot of interesting. And Tudor has Rick Ploumers, another interesting sprinter from this spring. For people who might not be that into spring classic results, he did very well in the early ones. So yeah, I think there's a lot of latitude in picking out the right low credit, high point sprinter, hopefully, because if Giro is going to be as sprint heavy as past years, you might consider picking a good sprinter as your main pick, and then going for a second sprinter for your wildcard spot, and then fish out the unclassed sprinters for another cheap pick that might be more reliable points than just hoping someone will get in the breakaway out of the unclassed riders. And the other thing I want to say about Giro is that maybe is a bit disappointing how there are a lot of interesting picks that are or rather interesting riders embedded in the start. It might not be good picks because they will be domestics or have just better riders in front of them. I don't know. There's going to be Matthias Vacek, who Gluck is a big fan of in Lidl Trek, but he's both going to be overshadowed by Pedersen in the sprints and by Ciccone in the general stage hunting stuff. And then again, there's going also to be Magnier is a nice pick maybe. He might do well actually, but still probably his first great GT. So yeah, and my own favorite is going of course to be Giulio Pellizzari, who did so well last year, got second place in the KOM classification, but again probably going to be a domestic for Roglic, and that just look at how Bora's team is just basically Roglic and then 7 domestics for him, because they're all nice, very good mountain guys like Aleotti, Dance, Hindley, Martinez, Moscon, Pellizzari and Traknik. Or they're basically all. I mean, most of them are very good riders in their own.
Martinez was second last year in Giro,
and now he's just a domestic.
That he's just being a domestic is sort of ridiculous.
And Hindley won Giro. Hindley won Giro literally, and Nico Dance won 2 stages 2 years ago. And still they're just going all in for Roglic, and which is we'll see how effective that will be.
I mean, I guess Martinez won't even be cheap because he was second last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Roglic drops out early, Martinez or Hindley could probably be do very well. Out of nowhere.
It might be a very good piece of last piece of advice, just not to be tempted by high credit riders who end up actually being just domestics. Probably Hindley, Martinez. Hindley might be 14 credits and then do nothing, or just hold out on the hope of having them be I don't know, high in GC. Because even I think when recently Roglic was contesting for GT wins, and his last domestic was Aleotti, not even Hindley, so might have been screwed over by Red Bull's actual rotation of domestics.
Okay. Well, thank you for your excellent analysis. Hopefully, if this gets out in time, it might be useful for some listeners. If not, then people might still just be interested in hearing us talk about TCAT. I don't know.
I mean, we had a solid 10 minutes of non-TCAT chat, so
fair enough.
It's better than nothing, I guess.
So we will soon be off to Bevrijdingsfestival. It's a public holiday here today, so that's nice.
Can't wait to get to the festival. Sadly, the weather does not seem to be as sunny as yesterday, but still.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit colder as well, but we'll figure it out. Well, thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Grug, for hosting me and for doing this together. It was very fun, and it was a pleasure to.
Yeah, and thank you for making the journey all the way here too.
Of course.
for recording Centraseiră.
Yeah, this was only done with the purpose of recording Centraseiră, of course, in person. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening to us. If you held out all this time, and yeah, we'll be seeing each other on Wittenberg, I guess, and hopefully on the ticket threads. Bye.